the hell is this?
It's a Sicilian message. It means the Chorizo Bros sleep with the fishes.
Gotcha. Guys, we have so much more content to bring you guys. Thank you for joining us again. This is the Chorizo Bros back at it again. We got Arturo here. We got Jeremiah over there. We got Brandon joining us again. Jojo here, of course. We're going to bring maybe 2 episodes of this extensive Godfather episode, you guys. So thanks for joining us. We're going to knock out some cool Godfather content, you guys.
Do it.
Let's do it. Okay, guys, to commemorate the event of the Godfather podcast, we have a couple of specialty drinks that they do in the book. And I also have a wine from Francis Ford Coppola himself, the director of the movie. So I thought we might have a couple of new cool things to try if you guys are down with that. Do we want to do the Striga first, or do we want to do the wine?
I feel like we should do the wine, because I imagine that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
So.
Probably. I mean, it's like a liquor. Okay, cool. We'll open this up. And the reason they wanted me to open it before we started filming, but the reason I wanted to do it on camera is because one of the most awkward scenes in the movie is when they're doing the Salazzo business.
Yeah.
And the fucking waiter walks up and he pops the shit out of that cork. He like pops it.
Yeah.
Like you really, it's like one of the loudest noises in the movie, I think. Louder than the gunshots and stuff. It's like a big... And I was like, damn, we gotta do that on camera. I can't, I'm not gonna be able to get it.
In like a fancy restaurant, that's not typical, right? Like,
no, you were not supposed to pop it out of there.
Yeah, that's bad etiquette for wine opening.
Well, and I think it's bad for the wine. I think it forces it to bruise easily. I don't know. It's some bullshit.
Bruise easy?
It bruises the wine, or there's some kind of thing where you're not supposed to pop it. Like you're supposed to do it very gentle.
You get the air too.
Oh no, dude, you should have
done we're supposed to be gentle. And then it knocks the camera over. So yeah, this is Francis Ford Coppola's wine. This is the Diamond Collection, a Merlot from 2022. I've never had it. I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be good or not. What we're supposed to do is give it to the coolest person in the room. So. Just kidding. Well, you're not, I don't know what's called.
Hey, I'll take that one if you want.
Is Merlot Italian?
You want me to take that one?
Yeah.
All right. This one will be for mine. This is Arts. Just give him like.
That's Arts. That's
simple. Hey, I got it.
You want a little bit or not?
Yeah, here's that.
Yeah.
You don't like wine? It's okay. You don't like wine, huh? Tell me when you stop.
I'm not too crazy.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, cool. All right, I don't want to focus too much on this wine here, guys. Let's start the way we normally start with. Let's go over everybody's take on either the book or movie or whatever variation you've done. I think Jeremy and I might be the only ones that did the book, right? You've read snippets.
Yeah,
but everybody here's seen the movie, right?
Oh,
yeah, I've seen the movie.
Who wants to start? We'll get in with a quick kind of spoilerish free thing like we normally do.
Yeah.
Should people watch it? What are your thoughts? 10 out of 10, whatever.
I'll start.
Start.
I think the movie is fantastic. The book to me is a lot better in certain aspects. I don't know if it's necessarily a story for everyone, and I say that for experience. I think in a certain part of my life, I don't think I respected the film enough, but after reading the book, it was definitely more eye-opening, a lot more details that I was able to associate with the book and then the movie, and it just made the movie much more enjoyable. So as it's an investment. It's a almost 3-hour long movie.
Yes.
And the book's also thick too. So it's an investment in the book. But ultimately, if you love a good story, you love good drama, all in all, great film, very, very well done. So
cool.
Well, I saw the movie only. I didn't read the book. But I went to the book. I think the book will be better than the movie any time of day.
But you don't know.
I don't know. I've never read it. So, I hope y'all tell me if it's a little bit more better than... but the movie, I love it. I loved it when I was a kid. I wanted to be a mobster when I was a kid. Of course, when I get older, you realize okay, it's not the life to live. But now watching the movie as an adult now, I kind of like the whole family presence and how they take care of each other and watch over each other. I love it. Good drama. It has some action in it. Mm-hmm. Good violence. The violent scenes I like how they take out mostly all the mobsters and stuff like that. What else? Pretty much that's it. There's a little bit of romance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In the movie. And yeah, I recommend to anyone to watch it. Any good mob movie, watch this. It's up there with all the good mobs movies there is. Goodfellas.
It's probably the best.
That's
one.
the Godfather of mob movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love. I also like Scarface. I know a lot of people don't like Scarface. Scarface is pretty good up there.
Yeah.
It's a fun one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Is that all I got?
Pretty much that's it.
Brandon?
I think, again, it's, like he was saying, probably the best mob movie. I think probably the most accurate in modern times would be Goodfellas, but, going back to the time frame, the 50s up into the 70s, I think it did a really good job of portraying, like, the family crime syndicate that was, like, continuing over into Italy, and how much sway and how much power they had during that time. Like, you kind of see, like, movies later on, like in Goodfellas, where it's kind of the ending of these empires, of these, like, crime empires.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like Don Corleone. Well, he said it was going to be the drugs. The drugs is really what led to be the end of all these crime families, because it got them for heavy, heavy sentences when, in the 70s and then 80s, Reagan was, like, against drugs, and it just completely crushed. You don't even see the presence of the mob anymore. If there is, it's so hush, and they probably don't even, touch drugs as much as they do other stuff, because it really was their downfall, and you kind of said that. But, like, in the time sense, the Godfather from the beginning, and if you watch the other movies, it goes even into the, the Sicilian crime family, starting in, like, the 1920s, I think, when he's immigrating over and he's, like, running away. Like, this whole book in the series just does, like, a great job on that time of the height of the Italian mob.
Yeah. So your favorite aspect of it was that it was very loyal. It's a very loyal period piece. Is that kind of?
I think it did a really good job. I haven't seen another movie that really tells that time period of gangsters, because it was a very lowly, common people. They go back to the old country, and they're kind of impoverished, and they're people that own olive farms, and they own,
Well, that's not really focused on this movie.
No, it's not. Well, I mean, in the book, they still do own.
They do.
Yeah, they still.
So there's a part in the book that. Well, I'll let you finish your review-ish here before I jump in.
Yeah, but just saying, like, from their upbringing, it's not as glamorous. He's Sonny. He's in a wife beater with suspenders, like, eating pasta sauce. He's not this gangster who's got all this nice suits that they're showing him about. Like, this isn't until the time later in Goodfellas where they're walking around the streets with these, pimped out suits and cars that are amazing. Back then, they were more subtle, quieter, and still kind of coming from the economy that they came from, like the impoverished Italian people. It wasn't until later, and it was just like a really good upbringing of, like, the Italian mob in that time. I think it does do a really good time, because no other movie really touches on that time period.
Right. I think any movie that tried to do that would look like a rip-off of this movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is, like, the gold standard for mob movies. It's the best. There's not... You could argue you might enjoy watching Goodfellas more, and Goodfellas is a god amongst mob movies also, but this movie edges out a little bit better for me. I like this movie a lot more.
Absolutely.
Me too.
So, what do you...
I love.
So, I did both the book and the movie, and this is one of those instances, and I've mentioned this, maybe not in one of the podcasts, but I've said this before, that the book, this is one of those rare instances where the movie is much better than the book.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because this is a sprawling epic, but it almost doesn't have any reason to be, the book itself. The way they transfer this story and they film it with the editing and the music and the way they dress, all that stuff, It's very grandiose, and you feel it. You don't get that vibe. You don't get the uplifting music. You don't get you don't get to see the action. The story is fun and it's fine, but it's Pulp Fiction. It's not trying to be literature. It's not trying to be anything deep. It's just, hey, here's a story about some mobsters. That's fun. And Coppola saw that and was like, I'm gonna make this art. So there's definitely a difference, because when you read this, you don't get this sort of classy vibe at all. It's very, like, gross in some scenes. There's some stuff where you go, why are we focusing so much of that? I have little things here that I want to mention. Yeah. But fun book. If you're really in love with the Godfather movies, check it out. You won't feel like the time was wasted. It's a fun story, but the movie is much better, believe it or not. This is one of those cases, in my opinion, where the movie is much better than the book. Cool. Anybody want to take over another topic?
So let's touch on that. So
the book?
Yeah, like, I think that you're right. There are some things about the book.
Spoiler alert, by the way. We're going to talk about everything.
Yeah.
There's no holds. We're not holding back on this conversation. We're just going to talk as though you don't care that we're going to ruin some things in the book, and you don't care that we are going to talk about some shit that happens in the movie.
Yeah.
So, sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to make sure that there's...
There are some things in the book that I think are unnecessary.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Let's... Don't censor yourself.
I may have
just
not read the
Let's
book.
just talk.
Joseph has sent me enough of that, and I'm like, my God.
I would be reading this, and I'll send him pictures of the page, and I'm like, can you fucking believe what's going on here?
Like, dude, they talk about Sonny's dick, like,
over and over.
Just over and over again. Just how,
like, the size of his heart was as big as his organ. What?
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what it says.
Yes, dude.
What the fuck?
And in the movie, it's mentioned, like, she's like, I think his wife is like,
yeah,
and like that's enough.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So like in that regard, yeah, absolutely.
And she didn't even that scene where she does that. It's just funny, and it's a nod to what's going on in the book. But does it matter? Except that it's a nod. Like in the movie, you go like, okay, so Sonny's got a big dick, so
right.
But there's a lot of digressions in the book. That
you think Coppola cast James Caan because he has a big dick?
You know what it makes me think? You know what it makes me think about with James Caan, and he's just like, he has this like confidence, and he's like a big guy and whatever. And you go, man, he walks around like this, like he's got a big dick, right? And I was thinking,
he was just carrying on. We just did big dick energy.
We just did the Misery podcast, and I thought as I was watching it last night, I was like, can you imagine if Annie Wilkes kidnapped James Caan because she thought he had a huge dick?
Oh my God!
She's like, I just wanted to see it, and then she gets mad because it's not.
Right?
What are you doing? She's like, I thought it was gonna be big.
Breaking your.
I've been doing stretches. So there's a lot of.
Yeah, there's like
dude. It is an absurd amount. It's not just a couple of lines.
Yes.
There's pages. So in the movie, there's this scene where you see Sonny it's at the wedding. He meets the bridesmaid and he like takes her off and he goes and has sex with her or whatever. And so that character, her name is Lucy Mancini, right? This chick is said to in the book have a very big vagina. She's too big down there. There's certain lines that they say. Yeah. Now we're gonna mention a lot of stuff that's not.
She has a lot of screen time in the book.
Oh,
page time. She has a lot of page time.
She's got a lot of page time
now,
in the book.
There's like 2 full pages worth of...
Takes 2 pages.
There's like 2 pages worth of this doctor that she meets that like they
like
hook
a
up.
Chapter.
It's a lot,
it's like
there's so much detail about the actual procedure to tighten her vagina. Yes. She starts sleeping with this doctor, and he's like, I could make that tighter. Yes. I swear to God, that happens.
Yes.
That happens in this book.
He's like, I can't wait
till
I be the first one. So the chick that was
sleeping with Sonny because he had such a big dick and she had such a big vagina that they're a match made in heaven. That's in there. I can't make this up. And I imagine Francis being like, I want to make this a beautiful masterpiece about family, love, and whatever. And he's like, why are we still talking about vagina, fucking huge, Santino's huge cock? I don't get it.
Yeah. I'm glad it was.
There's a lot.
There's from the movie.
Several chapters of Johnny Fontaine, the singer.
Oh man.
There's several chapters of Johnny Fontaine and his depressed. Like he's like suicidally depressed Nino
They
Valenti.
don't show that.
I think
No.
he just walks by.
Are you talking about Johnny being depressed? Or
No. His friend,
his
Nino.
friend. Yeah.
There's his friend Nino, who like they grew up together playing music.
Yeah.
Johnny
It's
got
actually-
famous.
It's
His
actually
friend
really
didn't.
cool.
It's
actually
super
a
cool
story.
It's super
It
cool.
reminds me of like just like brothers just from
Yeah.
another mother just like
He's the one
singing.
that helped him break out of his contract, right? That he gave him a deal.
Yeah. He's basically a Frank Sinatra stand-in here. So let me finish what we're talking about with the book being really different and strange. There's so Lucy, the doctor she hooks up with, Fontaine, and Nino all know each other. It's almost like a separate book.
Yeah.
And it's like spliced in here. So you'll be reading about Michael doing whatever he's doing, Vito doing whatever he's doing. And then you'll jump over to Johnny Fontaine hanging out with this doctor, and he thinks the doctor kind of sucks because he's kind of like him in a way. He's very confident, and the doctor is.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like that. And then Lucy Mancini, like there's a whole part where she like, it's really weird. I really liked it.
Say it.
Aside from the vagina stuff. Because there's the genitals it's crazy how much is in there.
There's a lot, yeah.
But what I really liked about it was that what it was trying to do is it's trying to show you how much the mob is involved in not just politics and not just street level stuff.
They're also like with medical stuff too. Like
they're in medicine, and they are because they were performing abortions.
Damn.
Yeah. So and you have it was like a league. Yeah, it's in there. Yeah, and then it's also in Hollywood. It's very much like the movies that are being made and stuff the mob is controlling some of that. So it's kind of showing you that no matter what part of American society, there's corruption running all the way down. And that was what I really caught from the Johnny Fontaine and Lucy Mancini digressions, aside from all the
New
general
York
stuff.
was known by nothing but mobsters.
Well, there's Cleveland stuff going on in here. I mean, it's
That's
not just New York.
Yeah, when they go to the family meeting,
yeah.
he's like, from California to Kansas City.
Yeah. He mentions
all of
it's across the country. Where this story takes place in New York. It's mostly in New York, but yeah, there's some strange. You'd be surprised that there's a lot of stuff that's not happening with the Corleones.
Yeah, and that's why I don't really like the book in those situations where to me the book really fails and the movie is much better.
Focuses completely on the family.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the family
That's the
aspect
stuff we like most.
because it's in there, like all that family aspect. And, like, you do get that sense. Like, I kind of agree with you where it's, grandiose in the movie. I kind of get that a little bit in the book. I still feel like there is some moments with, like, the Don and how he's, described and, like, all these characters. I feel like there were times that I really could paint the picture in my mind of, like, how respected
I thought you were
going
going to say how big the child
Do
do you think they would
How much of that
gotten
was-
by and still got an Oscar, given them, 15, maybe 20 minutes of talking about big dick and vagina?
No, I don't think so.
That would have ruined
I
them.
was laughing my ass
Dude,
off.
that would've
I
ruined
was
them.
like, it was so funny to me.
That's crazy.
But
to
do you
have
think
in the
that
book.
when you were reading the
What's
book?
the purpose of it?
Well, like I said, it's showing that the mob is connected to even Hollywood and the music industry.
Oh, so he's showing they're in everything.
They're showing it because Lucy's as connected to, because she's the bridesmaid of Connie. So they've known each other all growing up. Fontaine is the godson of Vito Corleone. They're all connected in there. The family aspect is in all of it. And you're seeing, all the corruption. And you see, his friend Nino is, dangerously, suicidally depressed. And he, gets...
But it's crazy because, you say that, but he is the most, he sounds terrible. He kind of reminds me of you when,
thanks.
because he's really, animated, and he's says these one-offs that are just, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about his life. He's, he's almost dying. He has, this moment where he has,
the doctor wakes him. He has he goes into a diabetic coma.
Yes. And they give him some medicine, and right as soon as he wakes up, he's like, "Hey, I want another drink," and they give him a glass of whiskey.
Yeah, I think Fontaine gives it to him, or somebody gives it to him.
And he downs his whiskey.
He's
and then
ready to die, dude.
Yeah, but he's even when he woke up, he's like, "Hey, have me."
I'm still good.
He's fine. He's
No,
it's crazy.
Yeah, that part with those digressions are pretty weird in the book. Anyway, I don't know. I don't want to focus too much on it, but oh no, there is. Let me mention one more thing with Nino. This is Fontaine's best friend, right? So eventually he gets invited to a party, and it's a Hollywood party. So there's people from starlets, people from TV movies, whatever, and he hooks up with this like actress that he grew up like having a crush on.
Yeah.
Like it's like if we're talking about Cameron Diaz, man, and then Cameron Diaz gives you a blowjob, right? So he gets a blowjob from this actress, and he doesn't even care.
Yeah.
Right?
Whatever.
He's just like,
Yeah. It's crazy.
Like, you think we would be,
He's
like,
all no
over
doubt.
the moon. I'm like, dude, Margot Robbie.
That's
You know?
Sky's
Yeah.
the limit.
Yeah, the sky's the limit. And imagine she does it, and you're just like, well, all right.
Did that, yeah. He's
Yeah,
really
did that.
That was
nonchalant.
fun.
So that was like, I thought that was so weird. Anyway, yeah, that's the
He's
weird
just
stuff that's
numb,
not
bro.
in the book, and not
Yeah.
in the movie. They they have Lucy in there for a
Yeah,
little bit.
the way it was edited was really good because, you don't need all that.
You don't need that.
Do you think those scenes were recorded and they're just like, yeah, let's just trash those scenes?
No. I think
I
I think
yeah.
Coppola, because he grew up he did film school. He knew like how the story would translate better to film.
Yeah.
Because Mario Puzo, the author of the book,
Yeah.
also worked on the screenplay, and I think Coppola came in and was like, "Hey, we're gonna tone some of this shit down."
Right.
Is what I think happened.
I wonder if that works and if that's a normal process. I doubt that's a normal process in filmmaking. I think that's the right way to go to try to get the original thoughts and ideas on a storyline from a book.
Mm-hmm.
But I could also see that being really problematic. Because when you get into like authors wanting to be fully involved with a film production, I feel like there's a lot of potential issues with that, where they're like, no, I want this in, or no, I want it done this way. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, like you got to understand, it's writing a book and putting it in a picture is totally different.
Yeah.
Just like actually looking at the pages and reading it versus audiobook, even that's different. The pacing and stuff is even different in that.
I do like the pace. It was kind of weird because they do like in the book, it's like small chapters, then big chapters, and then there's like different books within the entire book. It's kind of weird, but I kind of liked it because it kind of broke up all of these little like side notes where there's a book about Nino, Johnny Fontaine, Lucy, and then
the Doctor.
yeah, and then there's another book about just Michael going to Italy.
Yeah.
And then, so it kind of... Yeah.
There's a part, we're not going to talk about Godfather 2. Eventually we might do an episode on it, but we're not going to talk about it here. The part where Vito is a young man, and he's like an immigrant from Sicily,
Yeah.
that's all in here.
Yeah.
So the first book has
Part of the
young Vito Corleone going through the Fanucci stuff and whatever.
Oh.
Mm.
So all that's in here, which is pretty cool. I mean, the whole second movie is not in here. It's just that part where
just
young
yeah.
Vito Corleone is in here. It's pretty awesome. That's actually a damn good wine. I was waiting for someone else to say something.
It's a good wine.
Yeah,
Did you like it?
It's enjoyable.
It's okay.
It's enjoyable.
I'm
I
not
actually
a
liked
big
it.
fan.
Good job, Coppola. You can make wine as good as you can do a movie, I guess.
It's good, man.
Speaking on Coppola and the family themes, I mentioned before that he has some of his relatives in here. Do you guys know who those are? In Godfather 1, not the other ones. We're not going to talk about the other ones right now.
Who's
People with really big eyebrows.
So who is it?
Is it the fucking what's his name?
Big eyebrows.
Because
bushy
Francis Ford
eyebrows.
Coppola has big eyebrows.
Is it Tessio?
Abe Goda? No.
No, that's
The people related to Francis Ford Coppola in this are Talia Shire. That's Coppola's sister. The Adrian from Rocky.
Yeah.
okay.
Connie.
Connie, yeah.
She is related to Francis Ford Coppola. That
That's
is
awesome.
that is the director's sister.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh.
and then his daughter, Sofia Coppola, who now is like, what is she's like almost like 50, she's like 50 something. She's the baby that's getting baptized when all the murders are happening, when Michael's
Really?
standing Godfather,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're like, oh, it's Connie's baby, and the baptism scene, that baby is Francis Ford Coppola's daughter.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, so her first acting was when she was a few months old. That's kind of cool.
So it was her aunt's. It was her aunt that was her
Mom.
mom.
Yeah.
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 Okay, got it.
Yeah. That's
That's
cool, right?
Cool. Is
Yeah.
it just those two, or are there others?
As far as I know, in movie 1, that's it. I think he does have a lot of relatives. You mentioned before that Nicolas Cage is related to Francis Ford Coppola. That's
Really?
Yeah, that's his nephew.
Really?
So Nicolas
Nicolas-
Cage is related to Francis Ford Coppola.
Wow. That family's all into film.
Yeah, that's all he did.
Was it him first to be kind of in the film industry?
Who?
Francis
Coppola.
Ford?
Yeah,
I
it would have had to
believe
be. He
so.
made
Yeah,
these
I
movies in the
think so.
70s.
Gotcha.
The book was written in 69?
The book was written in 69, and I think Godfather came out in 1972 or 3.
Yeah, 72.
Oh wow! So that was a quick.
So,
turnaround.
someone
Yeah,
saw
that
this,
was
and they were
cool,
like,
bro, damn.
yeah. And then what's crazy is that you would almost be forgiven in thinking that it took place even earlier than that because it's a period piece. Because it's even in the 70s, they had to change everything to look like it's in the 40s.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what you mean.
All right, real quick, can I mention Gus is in this also?
No.
Robert Duvall. Yeah.
Robert Duvall
Robert
from
Duvall.
Lonesome Dove.
Yeah.
Who is he?
Tom Hagen.
Tom.
Oh,
He's the lawyer who took part
He
in
didn't
it.
recognize him without the mustache.
Yes, I didn't recognize. That's
You
That's
recognize
Gus.
crazy. Yes.
That's Gus, bro.
That's Gus, bro. Robert Ford is in all of Robert Ford. Robert Duvall's in a
Robert
lot of
Duvall.
our freaking
That is.
episodes.
Gus is in there, dude.
We just somehow do movies that all have Robert Duvall in it.
We should do
Might
all
be.
movies that have Robert Duvall in it.
We should just talk about Robert Duvall. That's pretty much what we've been doing this entire time.
Yeah.
He's
Tom Hagen.
He's Tom Hagen.
Tom is honestly up there with like one of my favorite characters. Dude.
Jeremy, I fucking love you, dude.
Ah.
Dude, I love Tom Hagen, bro.
Tom is the best, bro.
I love Tom Hagen.
Oh man. Honestly, a lot of like
Is he much better in the book than he is in the movie?
He's got a little bit more to do, and you kind of see his perspective a little bit more. But it's pretty much the same story because the only stuff that's really like crazily different is the Johnny Fontaine and whatever Lucy stuff, the Lucy vagina.
That's what they call her, Lucy.
Yeah, Art made that joke earlier before we started filming, and it was the funniest. I was
It's
like,
not funny no more.
no, it was great.
it was.
It was great.
We need to have like, a
But
little
it's
blooper
pretty
reel.
spot on. Most of the book is pretty spot on.
Yeah. There's so many cool details. So
yeah.
like I don't know if y'all caught this. And it's if you haven't read the book, you would have just dismissed it. So when Michael is in Italy and he's walking with his
The two bodyguards.
bride to be, they're not together
Apollonia.
yet. Apollonia. They're walking and they're being like chaperoned by all these like Italian women behind them, right? I think his mom or whatever. In the book, they discuss a part where Apollonia, she's walked these, trails her entire life. She's never tripped once, but she's walking with Michael, and all of a sudden she like falls, and so then Michael picks her up, and it's like and so in the book it was kind of a cool little thing, and so I rewatched the movie, and I saw, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And then if you pay attention to the
mom
in the back, she's like laughing,
She's
like,
like,
look,
oh,
she's
no,
like,
no,
yeah.
she likes
Yeah.
it.
And it's like those little details that like I think sets this apart, kind of like you were saying, like
Yeah.
it's a gold standard, because that little detail is so dismissible, but it really bumps this movie up, because you can get that like family aspect, you can get that like period piece that you're talking about, you can get that even like cultural. This movie is super cultural.
Conservative Catholic Italians.
And there's not many movies that do it right. It almost seems like a documentary while you're watching it in real time. It's
it's great. There's that part where in Sicily, whenever Mike is like, "Where are the men?" and he's like, "They've all died in vendettas." Well, you got to think. Okay, it's obviously trying to talk about the mafia, but it's also, you got to think about what was happening in that time. This is post World War II Italy with Mussolini. So there's like a lot of political stuff that was going on in Italy at the time. So there's some of the turmoil, and you understand how these mob guys became so powerful, and that stuff is talked about in The Sicilian, Mario Puzo's other book. Michael Corleone's in there also. Well, we won't talk about that here, but that really kind of showcases the political stuff that's going on with Italy at the time. It was very cool.
That's one thing that I'm not super like educated on, so I couldn't really like appreciate the book too much, because they do talk like Mussolini and all that stuff, and I'm not too familiar about all that.
Well, the Italian mafia in America actually aided the U.S. in blockading in Italy, and from getting ships they were worried that there was going to be secret attacks basically coming into the ports in the U.S., and they worked with the Italian actually Lucky Luciano was involved in that bargaining, and he was actually given his sentence was relieved, and but he had to not deny deportation, so he was deported to Italy for the last 20 years of his life. But he basically, because he was in prison but still kind of one of the heads, he kind of negotiated the use of the ships, because they basically owned all of the ports and all of the dockyards and all of the ships, to use private ships as kind of beaconings for like early blockades, and also to transmit to the U.S. Navy to say, hey, there's like shit going on. And they were forming blockades in Italy. And they actually,
good ass story.
Yeah, they gave a bunch of money
It's a
actually
good-ass
to the
story.
U.S. military too, and helped in Italy during World War II. They were kind of like rebels. And immediately after Mussolini was killed before the end of World War II, and afterwards, like the Italian mob took like a good chunk of what is the governing party. Like they're just, you know, have so much influence for a very long time. They still have influence. I think they bailed out Italy. The Italian mob bailed out Italy like 7 years ago. I think they bailed out the whole economy.
Yeah, bro.
Like, yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Got our like historian over here. Like, dang, bro.
So good
I
knowledge
don't know
there.
any of that stuff. So I'm curious about these oranges. I had an idea of what these were about, but now I want to know from you, because you put these out here.
If you didn't notice them, then you didn't notice them.
I didn't notice it. Or in the
Well,
book,
I
there's
did.
talk about like
But
about Michael Corleone's wife, and that she's always kind of smelling like citrusy, I think, because of what's growing around her. But that's all
There's so there's two things going on here. There's a discussion in my head happening with what's going on with the oranges, because one of the director of photography or somebody was like, we only put the oranges in the movie because
To brighten it.
the movie's so dark that it contrasts how dark it is, the bright oranges. But someone else was like, yeah, that's not true. There's something symbolic going on with an orange, and then something tragic happening to the character involved with the orange. So there's the part where Paulie comes up to Clemenza while he's dancing, and he's like, oh, what are you, a dance judge or something? He's like, more wine. He brings on the wine. It's got oranges in it. Paulie gets killed there. By Clemenza.
right.
Right? Or by the
It's
guy
like Rocco
with
or something.
Rocco Lampone, yeah. There's the part where the Godfather's attempted assassination. He's buying oranges in the streets, and then the guy
oranges fall,
and then
on
he
the
falls
street.
over. It was the worst acting that Marlon Brando did. Was his, and then he rolls on the floor.
Yeah.
Terrible.
That was
Or that's as bad as Sonny fighting the not Polly.
The bullets.
No,
the-
fighting the bullets.
The bullets
When
too.
he came out, he's like,
Yeah.
I've been shot 83 times. Wait.
No, when he like fights the guy and throws him over the railing, the one that beat his wife.
Yeah.
When the cop gets shot in the head first and then in the throat, and then he's like, bro, you're dead. Your head's. What
Yeah.
the fuck happened?
It's very much outdated acting.
Yes.
But Marlon Brando, the Vito gets shot, and he almost dies. He doesn't die, but when he does die, what is he doing with an orange?
Oh, he's playing.
He puts the orange in his mouth and he's playing with his grandson.
The little grandson killed him, right?
There's a shot
Gave a
where
heart attack.
yeah, the grandson killed him.
So I was thinking in my head, I was like, well, Michael,
damn, they start early.
Michael got rid of all the mobsters.
Do you remember
Even
that?
his own father. He had his son do it.
He had his son do it.
There's a part that zooms in on Tessio during the wedding where he like picks up an orange and he tosses it and he gets murked later. There's like a lot of oranges.
I didn't pay attention.
If you watch the movie again, go, all right, I'm
So
gonna pay attention
when
to
you
all
have
the
an
oranges.
orange, just so like they're gonna get killed or they're gonna
Or something tragic is gonna happen to them.
Hey, bro, here, catch.
Oh no! Yeah, we're gonna cut like a shot of him on the floor.
Yeah, just like, ugh.
You remember that cheesy movie Mafia?
No.
It's like making fun of the Godfather films
No.
and Goodfellas films.
No.
The guy from Naked Gun is in there, right?
Yeah,
I don't know
one of the guys from Naked Gun. It's pretty funny, and like the character gets like all blown up, and he's like at a funeral, and he's like getting hand fed these like disgusting like tangerines all wet. and every time he eats one, someone gets killed off screen. Like it's kind of
so it's
it's
referencing the
so
oranges.
it directly references
the orange thing.
I think there's a couple more references to oranges in the movie, but anyway, that's why I brought them. I stole those from my job actually. I like
you gonna
hit
return
them when I was
them?
leaving. I'm not gonna return them. You made fun of the 444 guy on the last one. They won't begrudge me a couple of oranges. Anyway, yeah. So the oranges was like one of those things that, it is nice visually, because if you look, because I was looking for them, right? So I'm noticing how dark everything is, and then you see these pops of orange. It's pretty good. So it could be both. It could be like they look nice on the screen, but also it's symbolic of symbolic of something going on. There's do
you know if Snow White's story was in Italy, it'd be an orange instead of an apple?
Yeah, if Snow White was a monster.
So Italian, just eat this.
One of my favorite things is the visual stuff that doesn't spell it out. Like what were you talking about before? Where you were saying the walk. They were doing the walk and she trips, and it's just you can just not even think about it.
Right.
There's like a couple of these things where I said this before. This movie, and maybe not necessarily the book, but the movie is basically opera. This is a tragedy. This is a classic tragedy, because with what happens with the plot. Let me ask you this: did Vito want the mob life for Michael?
Not at all.
No, not at all.
Did Michael want the mob life for Michael?
No.
And how does it end up?
He's in the mob.
The deepest. He's
yeah.
leading the mob now.
And
they close the door. They're like, done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an iconic scene too when they shut the door on her.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So this year, when we were younger, we liked. Oh, dude, Michael's badass. He killed those guys, and you can like,
it's
but
so
the story itself, you go, God damn, it's bleak.
And I think in the book, there's a scene between Tom and Kay, and so he talks to. She's all upset, like, oh, he's not telling me stuff, you know. Oh, I think he's murdered his brother-in-law. Da 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 da. And Tom has this like really deep conversation with Kay, and is like, put yourself in his shoes. What would you do if he didn't do what he did? That would lower his status. That would lower the whole family.
They were going to murder him.
That would
in the meeting. They were going to kill him.
Yeah, they would lower his strength to the point where he would be killed. So like Michael Corleone really needed to step in his father's shoes for basic survival.
Well, that's Tom justifying it as a consigliere, not
sure, right?
But he needed to get it done because they were going to kill him. Even his dad warns him before he passes away. They're going to try to murder you when you go to this meeting. Even his own guy was planning it.
Yeah, but that's after Michael's boss. Beforehand, when you see Sollozzo and McCluskey,
yeah.
When he murders them, and then the Don gets better, he asks, "Where's Michael?" And he goes, "Oh, Mike's the one that took him out."
Yeah.
And he waves him off.
Yeah,
because he's like, I cannot believe the last thing I wanted.
Yeah, Sonny got him involved. Like, why?
It needed to get done.
And he tells him, "Yeah, we can justify the bad behavior. The point is that Mike lost his soul in all this. You're not supposed to think it's cool. It's, again, like we talked about Fight Club. You're not supposed to actually be like, let's blow this shit up. Let's fucking beat each other up. You're supposed to think it's like bad. He is evil.
Like
murdering people is evil, Art.
Yeah, they're all evil.
These are not good. These are not good people.
But like I think,
bro,
like in the Sopranos,
show a sign of weakness.
Right.
Does the same thing with.
We're not just. We all agree that he did it because he was like, he felt like he was backed in the corner and had to.
Yeah.
But that's why it's tragic. That's why this is a tragedy, is that he didn't want that. The beginning of this movie.
No, I know. The whole time he didn't want to be in
the visual storytelling of this.
Footsteps.
When he goes to the wedding, why is it, first off, he shows up late.
Yeah. And he doesn't care about
what is Tom's first thing that he says to him? Your father's been looking for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
He turns up. He's not in a tuxedo, or he's not in a suit.
Military.
He's in his fucking military thing. And remember, his dad did not want him to join the fucking military either.
Yeah.
So all the visual, it doesn't say any of this to you. It doesn't say any of this to you.
No.
You watch it and you go, okay, so he shows up late. Everybody's like, "Where's Michael?" They almost take the picture, and he goes, "We're not taking the picture without Michael."
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
And the photographer's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And then Michael shows up eventually, and he's not with the beautiful, dusky, dark-haired Italian Catholic girl. He's with
blonde
Miss Van Horn, fucking Kay. The complete opposite of what he thinks the family expects him to be with. She's the opposite of that. She is this waspy, independent. She doesn't bow down to him. Eventually, she breaks, and that's sad too. But that's not the type of person Kay Adams is. She's independent. And think about what the time of this is.
Yeah.
She's educated. She has a job. She's a teacher. You know, so
she's a modern.
So even and then when they take the photo, he brazenly pulls her into the photo, which is very bold.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
and
he asked her to marry her when he come back.
They take the picture, and he's at the edge. So everything about this is telling you that he is not a part of this.
That's what he's.
It doesn't explain it to you. It shows you, and you're either going to put the shit together or you're not. So it didn't have to. You could have looked at some of the lines are like, oh, where's Mike, whatever. But if you just watched it, you go, he's not like them. Yeah. Even her dress looks different.
That's true,
they laugh at him, and he talks about the plan to kill those two guys, and they all just bust out laughing, and it's like, dang. One really cool thing that I love about this movie is that I do agree with you that it's a tragedy, but you really feel for these characters, and you really love their actions, and there's a lot of actual life lessons that I feel like people should actually learn from some of these characters, even though they're the evilest of evil.
Yeah, the mob is not good.
Yeah, they're awful.
The mob is good.
But you can't deny the basic principles that they fall on, which most people should.
That's what a lot of people are getting.
Family.
They love family.
Yeah, dude, family's huge, and like having that friendship, it means something. It's more of
I like that. I like the whole family.
It's more selfish for them in the mob, but even then, they hold true to that friendship, and that's just
if
really
Michael
strong.
Corleone was alive now, he would be in one of the Fast and Furious film franchises.
yeah.
Family is more important than anything.
Yeah.
God damn it. A lot of the I look at this movie a lot different than I used to, because when I grew up it was like it's fun mob stuff, but like imagine being like any one of these characters. Like it didn't dawn on me. You go, okay, Vito's he just didn't want that for his kid, and you can just take that as whatever, but like that's because he knows that Mike lost his soul. His soul's gone. You can't come back from murder, justified or not.
No.
I think on the nail on the coffin,
and it was sneaky
for Mike. Like he thought that maybe he could do that one deed for them, because he thought that maybe he could not be a part of it, but help them once. And then he goes to Italy, bro. He gets his wife killed over there. That's when he's like, that's it. No, he really has this false hope over there. He thinks he is safe. He can escape it. Yeah, it is something that he did for his family until he finds out Sonny is dead and his wife gets killed at the same time. That's it.
You're right.
It blanks.
Thematically, the nail in the coffin. You're right.
Yeah, it was the nail in the coffin. Right. Now, a beginning. It pried open that grave for the original Michael to die and for the Dawn to be born. But it wasn't until literally his brother had to die for him to even be that position.
Correct.
That he needed to take that
Sonny
position.
would have taken over.
And his oldest brother was a fuck up. Fredo was a
that guy's.
You guys didn't see. I don't think y'all watched my review of this one, The Godfather Returns or whatever, The Lost Years.
I haven't.
They turned Fredo into a self-loathing gay.
What?
A self-loathing gay. He's like, oh, these people are fucked up or whatever. And I hated it. I hated that book. Because in this, whenever he fucks up when his dad gets shot at, that's a turning point for Fredo's character. Fredo, in the book, there's nothing, it doesn't indicate in any way that he's a weakling or that he's stupid or that, you don't get any of that from who Fredo is. Yeah. you only start to see a change in him after he witnesses his father get shot. That's when it kind of that's in the movie they do.
Yeah.
They make the character John Canales, whatever his name is. He really like plays up that helpless, bumbling kind of whatever.
He's my least favorite character.
Of course, he's everyone's least favorite character. That's
my
even
least
this guy. He was like, oh, he's
my
probably
least
gay.
favorite actor ever.
He's great. Dude, that actor plays Fredo really well.
So well, you don't ever want to see him again.
That's perfect.
I want to talk about Godfather 2 so bad right now.
No, yeah,
We can't. We're not going to talk about it. Because, like, goddamn, in the second one, he's great. The actor.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
We'll talk about it
second
another
one
day.
is-
But Fredo in this, he's just like, you would just think him and Santino are almost interchangeable. Fredo's kind of tough. They don't really showcase it, but they don't mention that he's like kind of a wimp.
Yeah, because
That only happens after he witnesses his father get shot, and the guilt of him fucking up. When really, the whole thing is fucked up because of Santino. Sollozzo opens up a proposition. Santino opens his mouth when he should not have.
Yeah.
And that goes, okay, if Santino was in charge, we can make this deal happen. That's why Vito gets shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So if Santino had shut the fuck up, Vito would still be fine.
Yeah, but Santino was like, well, I'm not going to do the deal. You fucking shot my dad.
Yeah, exactly.
My swinging dick isn't going to stand for that.
Yeah, he was like, you think I have this big of an organ and I don't...
You don't think my heart's as big?
Yeah.
So Brandon and I were talking. All right, you guys. I think we found a good punctuation for video 1. We're going to be back at you in a few days, maybe next week, with the second half of the Godfather episode, you guys.
Don't miss it.
Thanks for joining us today, y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.